Ooh, hello there, my fellow miners and crafters. GoodTimesWithScar here, and welcome back to the wonderful worlds of HermitCrafting. And we are flying through the HermitCraft community area, which today we will be finally finishing. After 1 year, this area will now be complete at the end of this episode. Now, you know, there might be a few streams and or a bit of off-camera work that I might do. But as for videos, we are going to wrap up this area with a really great episode of building all sorts of ruined structures throughout the area and finishing up a bit of the landscaping, which, man, I cannot be more excited to finally finish this area, like I said, after 1 year. And if you're as excited as I am to finally see this thing complete, smash that like button. Let's get right on into it, my friends. And this is something we need to start with immediately, is the cleanup of Shulker Island here. This is just an island of Shulker boxes in the sea of broken walls and trees and evil tentacles and things. So we got to clean this all up. This has become an absolute nightmare. I have no idea how bad it had gotten until I came back on the server after being gone for 2 weeks, and I'm just like, oh, what truly have I done? Because here's the deal. When I'm going along, I know where everything is. Like all these shulker boxes, I know exactly. But give me like a week away, I don't know anything. I'm struggling. I'm struggling over here, and I can't find anything. But since our last episode, I've gotten a whole bunch more of our leaves. So I think we can finish off a whole bunch more trees in this area. So super excited about that. So yeah, we need to clean that all up and start building all of the ruined structures. So farmlands in this area, houses along there, and then some additional buildings are going to go in the back, which have been flooded out by the river. And I really like this area, right? It's very peaceful with all the trees and the plants, and it's also a little evil at the same time, you know? Tentacles coming up, reaching, trying to grab you. So yeah, I really like this area. I think it has come out really well. I think we spent enough time here. So today, man, I'm really excited to see what this looks like at the very end of this episode. Finally, we can truly say the vision that we had so long ago, well, technically 1 year, and it'll be finally complete. Man, I don't know. That's a good feeling. Let's shoot in here real quick. And another thing we need to do is, besides get Cub to make the door, which he's going to, which I'm super excited about, we need to clean out the Christmas decorations finally. As much as I love these little things up in the tree, I love these little ornaments, it's probably time to take them down. I think we enjoyed them enough. We got the little red stone and the little axe. I love it. I love the little minifigs. And then we can swoop on over here. And of course, there is our, I have no idea what this is. It just completely left my brain. I was like, hoe, shovel, sword. And of course, there's a cat and torch and pickaxe. Oh, absolutely love this thing to bits. But yeah, it's got to go, unfortunately. So, my friends, I will start working on that, cleaning out all of those shulker boxes. And then we will be finally ready to finish off the community area. So let me finish that up. Welcome back, and I've got all the supplies cleaned up and ready to roll. But before we get to that, I wanted to show you this particular tree. And this was something that we did over the weekend on Twitch. So this is one of our trees. And what we did was you took one of these spooky tentacles and wrapped it around there looking like it's crushing the tree. But you know, within this design, this bush is now obscuring our vision. There we go. It would be great if we had dead trees in Minecraft. If the branches or the leaves were a brownish color, and maybe you had kind of a dusty gray colored, root structure or trunk of the tree. I think that would be really, really cool. Now, you can pull this design off if you are in a biome that the leaves are kind of a brownish color and you can use acacia, but it would be nice if we just had real dead trees in Minecraft. I think that would be really cool. But I like the design. I think it came out pretty nice. But let's fly on. Well, apparently we're going to hop on over to Shulker Island. And as you guys can see, we've got this area all cleaned up and ready to go. So let's fly to our brand new Shulker Island. I honestly didn't know what else to do, but I just pretty much picked it up and moved it on over here. We're just not going to ask a lot of questions. We're just going to grab our supplies for today, and we're just going to move on. There we go. And just forget the shulker boxes are now over there. So let's get busy now. This particular area right here, I'm envisioning as the residential portion of the city. So this little plot, and maybe, is there one over there? I think there's like one right there, but I think that might become the farming district. And then over here, maybe the shopping. And of course, we're going to build a little house that unfortunately got flooded out. So let's get busy. It's really great to be back and building once again in VexCraft. That's right. So let's get started here. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make my house kind of fit this little peninsula, right? So it's just going to be like this. And we're just going to start with some plain old smooth stone. And eventually we're going to come through and add all the details, similar to what we did with the walls. So I think that'll be pretty cool. So we're going to run this guy along there and run this one like so. And then we're going to shoot this all the way back there. So this house is going to be very, very run down and rustic. Most likely pretty well crumbled all the way down, unfortunately, because of the corruption of the nether portal. So I think that'll be pretty cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to back this off a little bit. And I'm pretty much just making this up as I go along. But like I said, it's really great to be back building once again, because I am finally back from Mine Fair, and my brother and I had such an awesome time there. And I'm so glad you guys have enjoyed the vlogs, because those were really, really fun to put together. And like I said before in some of the pre-stuff before I left, is that was the first time I'd flown. Everything went really well if you guys hadn't heard. So that was really good. And hopefully it'll allow me to fly a little bit more. So that would be pretty sweet. So when it comes to flying, it's a bit tough with breathing, and it was. But you know what? I was able to make it, and that's all that really mattered, was just be able to make it and not have any issues, and that's what happened. So I am very, very pleased about that. That makes me super duper happy, because there's some things coming up in the rest of the year that require me to travel again, and this will open up a whole bunch of new opportunities. When you are, chronically ill, a lot of abilities are taken from you, right? And it's just kind of sad. Eventually, it's just a fact of life. Certain things are taken from you, and you're like, fine, there goes that. And then you kind of move on. It's rarely anything ever can come back. And this was kind of like a little bit like that, right? It was a little bit of something that got taken away from me that I can do again. And that actually feels really great. And that makes me super happy. So when it comes to the channel and stuff, I'd like to do more vlogs and travel things with my brother, because you guys seem to like that. And maybe eventually it can span off into another channel. I think that would be super duper duper fun, because I kind of want to live life when you can, right? You never know when life will be taken from you, so you gotta live life to the fullest, right? You gotta make sure you do everything possible when you still can and still have your abilities. So that's what I want to do, and that was my goal of this new year, and hopefully we are somewhat achieving that. So working on the foundation, right? Getting some of the blocks kind of fixed up a little bit, just mixing it up. You don't want it to all look exactly the same, so just kind of randomizing these just a little bit. So let me work on this just a little bit more. And then, of course, we'll start working on the ruined structure. I guess what I'm trying to figure out in my head right now is, does this build have a roof? I don't think it will. I think it's collapsed. So let me finish up this foundation. All right, so we got the foundation done, and I think this is looking pretty cool. So I've added a bunch of, just little details kind of cut in, so it looks like the rock has started to fall off the side. So I think that's looking nice. Next thing we need to do is we need to start laying down the floor. Now I'm trying to come up with exactly what I want to do in the floor. So with everything I like to do is just start with a blank canvas, and that is going to be our delicious milk chocolate right here. And then from there, what we could do is, maybe put in a little bit of grass, growing through the wood and things along those lines, which I think will look fairly nice. Now for the walls, I've been trying to figure it out. Should I take this up to 2 stories and maybe add, a tentacle coming out of it? I'm not 100% sure, but what I do know for sure is there will be a tentacle coming out of here at some point. So I think that's going to be really nice. So what we could do now is we can start to put these blocks along the sides like this. And this is what I kind of want to do, is just kind of make the walls kind of, just gonna go up and down like a wave, right? Just up and down. And then from there, what we could do is, apparently I don't have them on me. There they are. We can grab these guys and then just start kind of putting them off on angles. So it really looks like, the wood has been splintered and broken in parts like that. Look at that. There we go. That's the designs we're looking for. And of course, we'll look through here and, plot out where a window is. So I might kind of reconfigure this just a little bit, put that right there, and bam, there we go. That's our window. And then for this block right there, let me sneak back over here. And I think I've got it. Beautiful, I do. Nope, come back here. Nope. My inventory management is atrocious today. There we go. Put that right there. Bam. That's our window. And then we'll knock that up just a little bit higher. We'll jump up here. Bam. And then we'll swoop over here and put a nice spruce plank right on top of that. So there, now's our window design. So what we could do to kind of make this look a little bit more run down is, just add little blocks like that. So now there's a little piece missing. And this is actually really fun. This is a fun way of building. I'm actually quite enjoying this. So that's good right there. And like I said before, what we could do is, maybe break a few blocks like this and then put that in there and then grow up some grass. So it looks like the grass is going through the floorboards, which is pretty cool. So yeah, like I said before, just these little details like that. And then maybe take a half slab and put it along the edge, and just things like that I think are going to look really, really sweet. So yeah, let me work on this a little bit more. Like I said, somehow we're going to have a tentacle coming out of here, but where and how is the question. Welcome back, and I'm really loving this thing. It has a very organic feel to it, and it doesn't really stick out really boldly in front of all the walls, and that was kind of a concern, but I think it sticks out in terms of its color just enough to distinguish it from the walls. So I'm quite pleased with the balance that we've achieved with the color with this. So let's head on inside, and as you guys can see, I've added a darker chocolate floor here, so that has a little bit of a contrast from the walls. And we know there's like a chair and there's a stove, and I'm going to continue to add maybe a few extra little details in here. So I think that's nice. We have just a little bit of glass kind of around the edges, and I think what we're going to do now is we're going to make a chimney. And I'm just kind of looking around like, where can we build a chimney? And I think right about here would be nice. Let's measure this up. So we'll just kind of do something like a so, and I think that will work very nice. So yeah, let's work this up like that. Yeah, I've been spending a lot of time on this particular house, but I think it's well worth it. Just kind of stabilize a design in the area that then we can use the template from here elsewhere and just put our own unique little designs in each one of the houses. So I think my next house will be a little bit more stone heavy. I think will be pretty good. Oh, that's a very nice stable chimney. Very nice. So yeah, I think it's all coming out pretty good. So one of the things that I'd like to do next, once I've completed all these houses, is to think about a little bit more of the human elements. And I mentioned this before when we've built, is the human elements are like wagons or farms or anything that you would see a human build, right? So add those little things to the build, and just like carts and old stands that maybe once sold some old wares of the village or something along those lines, I think could be very, very nice. So there we go. I think the chimney's okay, but I want to do something a little bit on the top. So we'll fly on up there, and maybe on the next house, the chimney could maybe have collapsed or something. I think could be really fun. I'm gonna put that right there, and I'm going to place you right on top. Once I think about it, potentially maybe just a smooth stone brick at the top actually might look kind of cool, just as a little end cap there. Yeah, that's very nice. But I want to see if I can. What am I doing here? What am I doing? I can't jump on that. No. Oh my gosh, I'm just jumping all over the place like a bouncy house. Down here, I want to just add just a few of these bricks here, just to make it look like it's a little bit crumbly. There we go. And then maybe throw just a couple of those here and there, so it looks like maybe some of the pieces are falling off. Nice. I like it. I like it a lot. Once I get some cobblestone, I might add a few pieces here and there, because I think that'll look pretty nice. And let's take to the flight once again and soar to the sky. Oh yes, that is looking fantastic. So we need way more of these things throughout the entire city. So we're gonna have to get crazy and start really, really adding these things around. But I would like to just kind of mix up some of these blocks just a little bit, just so it has a little bit more detail. Bam, there we go. I'm very, very pleased with that. There we go. I hope you guys like that. I think that's a really good ruin look for a house. You can see a little bit of the inner design. We have the fence post, we have the log right there, we have the door. The door is still there. That's a tough door right there. And then moving on inside, just a bit of furniture for the interior, and I'm very pleased with the design. So moving on to our next house. So where I think we're gonna start now is in this location right here. Potentially this is the one that's going to, whoa, hey, you're right in my face. This is the one that's going to have the tentacles coming out of it. I think that would be really cool. Ooh, Vex cake. Yeah, love cake. Well, no, that's chocolate. Anyway, so yeah, let me start working on the foundation for this, and we'll get building on that one. Look at how awesome that looks once we have all of the trees and plants and all of those details installed around our destroyed house. It really changes the structure and the feeling of the area once you do incorporate trees and plants and landscaping to the area. But anyway, let's move on down because we got to start on a whole bunch more of these things. So our next one is down one step lower, and this one is going to be a little bit bigger, and I think we're going to think a little bit more in terms of stone in this one. So maybe the walls are made out of stone. So let's get started. Now, I was thinking about doing this in two. So if there was two small ones, but I think we're just going to go one big one. This tentacle might be in the way. Now, I think I'm going to have the pathway to the house come up this way. So I think that'll look really nice. So if we start something like this, potentially we could take this and bring it inside the house. I think that might actually look really sweet. I think I'm just going to be fairly boxy in terms of design, so I think it's going to be fairly just a box. But I think we can do some really fun detail to make it unique, and we'll run that across there, and there we go. So we've got our foundation. So say the front door is off to one side, so say it's right here, then we can work the pathway down right next to the evil tentacle. So I think that'll be absolutely perfect. So yeah, let me do what I did before, get this foundation all set up, and then we'll start working on those more unique details, is the stone walls and facade. Foundation is down, and I've got some oak pillars on the sides there that are acting as support. So I think we might go with them, but we might not. We'll see kind of how it goes from here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take a little bit more smooth stone. If I could grab some of that extra, there we go. So we're going to run that along the side. So I just want to get a kind of a feel for this. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start building this up like so. And we'll run that up here. And like I've said before a million times, and then we'll bring in the detail once we kind of get just the basic facade shapes established. So this is going to be quite a bit bigger than the one up on the hill, but I think it's good. I think it's good to have a few different kind of designs. So that's more of a wood design. This one's going to be a little bit more stone. The reason being is it's outside of the perimeter wall, so it's more in the interior next to the portal, so it has its contrast, the stone next to all the reds and the darks. So I think that'll be really cool. So it has a nice pop, whereas that over there has a good pop because it's wood, it's brown up against the stone. Whereas if we built this one up there, you know, it wouldn't have the same look. So I think this is a good decision to do this. There we go. And I'm gonna run this up there and see how I'm going one block behind the foundation and then running these across here. Now, the question is, should I build a roof? Like the other one doesn't have a roof. Should I have a roof on this one? This one's stone, so you'd think it would be a little bit more hardy, but maybe this is the one where the tentacle pops out. I don't know. These are all ideas that we can come up with, but let's push back a little bit and see how this is kind of coming out. Ooh, you know what? I think this is good. I think this is very good. Well, it would be better if I could jump up here. There we go. All right, so then over here, what we could do is start pushing out some blocks like that so it meets the top. And I don't have what I needed. I was hoping I had some spruce stairs to put on the tops of these so it looks like they're broken, but unfortunately I do not, unfortunately. But we'll move on, we'll move on. So of course on this side, it's gonna be a little bit lower than the others because this is a smaller pillar, so this has had more erosion of the actual structure of the design. There we go. Add one more block right there, and then we're gonna swoop across here, and then this should just about finish it off. Beautiful. And we'll put one more block right there. Nice. Oh, I like that. So then, like I said before, then we'll just start kind of just slowly putting some of these guys in there, you know, throw in here and throw in there. And then of course, maybe even a half slab where we could, you know, cut one in like that and maybe one off the top like that. You know, just little things like that I think are going to be super fun. So yeah, let me finish the detail. And man, we just got ourselves another house built up and ready to roll. Welcome back, and I got a little carried away with the building, but before we get off to the new builds, let's look at where we left off in our last clip at the stone house. Look at this thing, came out really, really well. So we have the oak as the pillars, and of course the stone is the walls and things along those lines. So I think that came out really, really nice. I like this little section where it's just barely clinging on to the sides. And this was once, you know, the structure of the roof. So that was like more of like a pointy structure at the top, but now it's broken and it's hanging downwards. And if we move on into the interior, you can see there's a lot of little crumble rock hanging in the corners here. So I think that looks really nice. Lots of little holes poking out. Maybe we could add some glass in here eventually. This was the fireplace. I still want to add like some more fireplace details here. And then this up here is the kind of structure for the roof. So these things held up the structure of the roof, and now they're just all broken. I love it. I love it. These things are so fun to make. You know, when you build a certain way for a long time, it's fun to kind of break away and just literally break it. So I'm really, really enjoying it. See how cool that looks, where these beams once kind of held up high are now like cracked and breaking off. Ha! Love every detail. Anyway, so this is one of an additional building. I just thought, heck, let's throw in another house here. So I like this. And what I'm enjoying about this one the most is that I am using a little vacation. It's a bit of a call to the walls and using some of the same material, but keeping it a nice contrast between the walls with the spruce. And then in the interior, of course, we got some plants growing up there, and maybe a few more interior elements in here I think would be nice, but we can get to that in just a little bit. And this one, this is like a little cute little guy. Look at it. It's got this section of the roof that is collapsed down on the left side, and you can see where that kind of design carries on. It's got a little bit of glass clinging there to the side of the wall, and then the interior here, of course, lots of plants and details inside. Now, this is the big change I feel like in all the houses, is our original house switching out the oak logs for acacia logs, and I am loving it because it really gives the spruce a bit of a contrast, right? Before it was oak and the spruce kind of are in the same kind of color space, whereas this is a bit of a pop, and I like it quite a bit. In the interior, got a cauldron. I cleaned up the fireplace here a little bit, just moved around a couple blocks, so I am quite pleased with that. Also moved our chair over by one. I love how this chair is just the last thing remaining. It's just kind of, yeah, just kind of hanging on there. And let's head back out and look towards our right-hand side, where we've got our flooded valley, where this once was a beautiful valley and it is now flooded. So this area, maybe this was like a really fancy house, like, right? It's this big old fancy place. Somebody's sitting back and be like, I've got the fancy one. And then it gets flooded. It's like, dang, you know, I had a really great house. Now it's flooded. Now I got to go underground, live under there. This isn't good. So I think this will be pretty awesome. So I moved the riverbed up 1 block, so I flattened it out. The reason being is that this isn't a natural lake, right? This is something that is artificially created by diverting the river and then breaking through the mountain and coming in here. So that's why I moved it up 1 block, and I think that'll be a little bit more natural. So I've got my foundation material, so I'm going to start building up this house. Like I said, I think it's going to be quite a bit bigger than the others, and I think this one will be really nice. So this will take a little bit to build. So I'll be right back. Welcome back. And as you can see, we are slowly filling up the back half of the castle, and that is looking pretty darn cool. I continue to add more and more trees, but this is truly my favorite build so far that we've done today. And there's our fancy stone house that got flooded. I think it came out pretty darn cool. My favorite part of this design, I think, is the front portion of it still fairly intact. And then on this back section, I keep getting stuck into these situations. There we go. Now we're around. But as you can see on the back section, it's all been torn down. And once again, the little beams are angling down. There's even a little piece of the beam that has fallen into the water. And I think that is pretty cool. And if we sneak around the back here, let's go around the back. You can see the same details carried throughout. And of course, all landscaped in this back portion. So got this all done, added some trees. So I think that's looking pretty cool. And then over here, like on the other stone house by the portal, I do want to put some glass in here. I don't have any at the moment, so I need to remember to get some for the little windows. So yeah, I really like that. I think it came out pretty cool. And it's unique. Each one of the houses has its own unique characteristics, right? So this one's got more of a formal entry. It's a little more heavily detailed. And then up on the top of the hill there, this one's got its unique characteristics with the acacia wood and a few other things. So yeah, I'm quite pleased with that. And like I said, we're slowly filling this in. We've got a lot of new trees, a lot of new builds. So that leads us to this huge plot of land over here. And this, of course, is the farmland of the castle. Now we got to think together what this will look like. Is it made up of multiple houses farming different things like, hey, there's the carrot house, there's the potato house, things along those lines? I'm not 100% sure. I was considering potentially maybe doing more of a barn and then doing pastures of, or not pastures, but different farmlands fenced in, but the fences are broken, so the farmlands are all spreading outwards. I'm leaning towards the horse barn idea because that's something different than the houses, right? Doesn't that sound a little bit more interesting? Just another house. So I think we might roll with that design. And of course, the farmlands, if I can do it, I eventually want them to spread out of the castle walls, just like it's just wild potatoes and carrots spreading all around it. I also remember, isn't there beets nowadays? So I guess we could have a beet field too. So Yeah, you know what? I think it would be really cool if this is more fields than, say, buildings. So horse barn in the fields. So let me go figure out where I can get some potatoes and carrots and some of the seed plants. So yeah, I'll be right back. Welcome back. And I know, no, we're going down. Oh my gosh. We survived that. How? Look at this. Look at this. We are literally on like death, 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 not death, 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 not death, death. Like we literally landed in the most perfect spot ever. What happened? Oh, the electric broke. Oh my gosh, I was coming in there to show you guys the community area, all finished. Now we can't even get through the gates. Oh my gosh. All right, let me go get an elytra. Let's do that again. Take two, welcome back. And as you guys can see, the farmlands are planted, the trees are all in their spots, and of course, the dilapidated buildings are starting to be placed, and it is looking so amazing, especially the fly through here and dodge and weave all the different trees. And to finally say that this thing is complete is just such a happy feeling to behold. And I want to see in the comments, hashtag never forget the big dig. That's right, never forget the big dig, because it is finally done. The upper level area with all of its castles and crumblings and evil and all that stuff is finally installed. Now there is definitely a whole bunch more stuff that I would like to do around here, and I'm going to do that on the live streams and some off-camera work and stuff like that. But as for the videos, we are now complete, and for the most part it's pretty much done. I mean, once all the farmlands grow in, we're going to build the barn on a live stream right in the center there, and I added a whole bunch more trees across here, so all these ones right here are all new since our last clip, and I think that's looking really cool. And then once we go into the interior, I think that's what we're going to work on Saturday on Twitch, is getting this thing all looking super fancy. But I love the new trees that I just got down in there, and of course there's the stone house on that side. And then if we work our way up to here, we got that little house over there, and this one, I love this one. It's so cute with that little piece of its support structure falling apart. And then onwards we go to this one looking super fancy. And then of course the big one, it's the rich guy who's been flooded out. I like this one. We're definitely going to do a couple more of these designs up here. So, you know, just plant these things all around. And I think that's going to make some really, really fun Twitch streams to kind of build all these little buildings. And, you know, as we build them, we try to come up with different designs and try to mix it all up and come up with something cool. And of course, I got to move those Shulker boxes. But man, I don't know. It's just a good feeling because we've been working on this together for so long. And look at all the cool little trees. It's just, you know, I love Minecraft. I love design. I love building things. So when you finish something like this, it's just a really, really great feeling. And it is time now to head back to our own base. That is right. Scarlandia is super, super sad. Ouch, that hurt. Super sad over here, and is definitely in need of a little bit of loving on its backside also, because this area is so incomplete that we need to build some more stuff. So in the comments, I want to hear your ideas. Hashtag city ideas, and I want to see what you guys have in store for some ideas for this. I definitely have gotten quite a few great ideas from you in the past, like potentially a hospital and different things along those lines in that same vein. So we're going to be working on that. So next episode, we're back here in Scarlandia. And until next time, this has been Good Times with Scar, and I always really appreciate you guys taking the time to watch my videos. And if you believe the videos are the rating, that would be very much appreciated. And we'll see you next time. And don't forget to subscribe, because you may just become scarred for life.